Hi folks, Dr. P here. This is Math 20-2 Quadratic Functions, Topic 2, Example 3 on page 22. So in this example, they're asking us to use technology, which means graphing calculator, to determine the following characteristics of the given quadratic functions. So the way we're going to do it, we're going to first, step number one is to graph the quadratic function as given to us. Then we're going to be using our graphing calculator to determine the various characteristics of that quadratic function. And then lastly, we're going to graph this. Okay? So on our graphing calculator, we're going to press the y equal button, top left corner, and we're going to enter the quadratic equation here. The x is right here. So if you press this button, you're going to get your x, and then it's going to be squared minus 2 times x minus 3. Press graph, and there is your quadratic function. So we can see that this one opens up. So the direction of opening is going to be up. The vertex, so the vertex is right down here. When it's asking you for the vertex, it's asking you for the coordinates, the x and y coordinates of the vertex. We're going to be using the graphing calculator to help us find that. We'll press second button, the yellow button, top left here, then trace over here. And because this quadratic function opens up, we're looking at a minimum. So we're going to be choosing option 3 here. Then it's asking us for left bound, which means that this little blinking cursor right here has to be to the left of the vertex. The vertex is here, and right now that blinking cursor is to the left of the vertex, so we can leave it where it is. Press enter. Next it's asking us for right bound, which means we want to move this blinking cursor to the right of the vertex, somewhere over here. So we move it with the arrow button that's pointing to the right. Moving it to the right, and somewhere over here, doesn't matter where, as long as it's to the right of the vertex. Enter. Enter again. And there is our coordinates for the vertex. We notice that the x equals 0.99999, etc. This is a round off error that these calculators sometimes give you. The answer here, so 0.999, we want to round it, which is going to be 1. So the x coordinate here for the vertex is 1. The y coordinate is -4. Now that we have the coordinates of the vertex, we're going to put in this point right here on the plane that's given to us. So the x coordinate is 1, the y coordinate is -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. That's the location of your vertex. We already said that we have a minimum because this quadratic function opens up. So the y coordinate of the minimum, anytime a question is asking you for the minimum or maximum, they're asking for the y coordinate of the minimum or the maximum. So the y coordinate of the minimum is going to be the y coordinate of the vertex. So it's going to be -4. Axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry is this imaginary vertical line that goes right through the vertex. So it's going to be going right here, and it's going to have the same x coordinate as the vertex. So we would say that the axis of symmetry, the equation for the axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 1. It's going to be the same equation, or x will always equal to the x coordinate of the vertex for the axis of symmetry. Then they're asking us for the x-intercept. So this is going to be the x coordinates where this graph is crossing the x-axis. We're seeing here that it's crossing the x-axis in 2 locations, over here and over here. So we need those 2 x coordinates, and the graphing calculator can help us find those. So we press second and trace, and to find the x coordinates of the x-intercept, we're going to choose option 2. So option 2, 0 means that the y coordinate is 0, which it is when it's crossing the x-axis. So we're going to choose option 2, enter, and then it says left bound. It's going to be saying right bound again. We want to place this cursor now. If we're looking for this x coordinate first here on the left hand side, we want to place this cursor to the left of this x-intercept. Enter. Now we want to place it to the right of the x-intercept, but we want to be closer to the one we're looking for, this one here, than over here. So we don't want to move this all the way over here somewhere. So what we're telling the calculator is that the x-intercept, the first x-intercept, is somewhere between those 2 points. Press enter again, and that left x-intercept is going to have an x coordinate of -1, and we can see here that the y coordinate is 0, which is correct. Now we have to go and find the right x-intercept here, the second one. So we do the same thing, second trace. We're going to choose option 2, 0 again. And now we want to make sure that this left bound, that the cursor is to the left of this right x-intercept, but not too far away from it. We want it to be fairly close to it because there are 2 x-intercepts and we don't want the calculator to get confused. Enter. Now to the right bound, so we're moving it up. So now it's to the right of this x-intercept. Enter, enter. And the second x-intercept is going to be equal to 3. So we're going to write and. Next, the y-intercept. So what is the y coordinate where the graph is crossing the y-axis? Again, the calculator is going to help us here. We're going to go to second and trace again. Find the y-intercept. We're going to choose option 1. So value means that we will get to give the calculator the x-coordinate of the y-intercept. If we press enter here, so what is the x-coordinate at the y-intercept? Well, whenever the graph is crossing the y-axis, the x-coordinate will always be 0. So we're going to set x to 0. Enter. And there is our y-intercept is -3. So let's put in those points. So we have the x-intercept is -1 is here and +3. And then we also know that the y-intercept is -3. So 1, 2, so it's going to be about there. Now we've put in these 4 landmark points and now we can graph it. So this is your vertex. It's going to be coming up like that. I'm doing a terrible job with the sketching here. Let's try again. It'll be coming like that, and we're going to put arrows at the end. Something like that. Okay. So we're done with our graphing calculator. We graphed it. There's only 2 things that are remaining. It is the domain and the range. The domain is going to be the possible values for x. So x belongs to the real numbers. It goes from negative to positive infinity here, but we have those arrows at the end. The range, well, the smallest possible y value is going to be right there at the vertex. So y can be, or has to be, greater or equal to the minimum of the y min, so which is -4. Y will never be smaller, will never be down here. It'll always be either -4 or greater. So that's your range. There are also B and C here. I'm not going to do those. You have these keyed in your workbook that's posted on the Google Classroom. So please have a look at that. And if you have any questions, make sure you meet up with one of your teachers through Google Meet. You have Google Meets every day, or submit your question through the Google form that's on Google Classroom. That's a wrap. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the math be with you. See ya.